right, so welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about Chipotle Mexican Grill, or the big burrito, and I'm going to give you some insight. Keep in mind, it's not recommendations to buy, sell, or trade this stock. It's just my own personal opinion, and yeah, you can get my opinion at the Discord channel, and you can do that by just going into the description below. There's going to be a link. You can click it, get on the Discord channel, or of course, sign up on tradersfly.com to our newsletter list, so that way you can see as I have new live classes coming out all the time, options related as well. Okay, let's take a look at CMG. CMG, if you don't know, it is not Checkmate Gaming. CMG, and we'll go to stock. You can see it's Chipotle Mexican Grill. I've eaten at a Chipotle a few times. They had some, food safety issues in the past as well. The stock just recently had some earnings, so that was a few days back. And people are wondering, should I get it after earnings now, and so on and so forth. So anyway, one thing with Chipotle, I will let you know, like ahead of time before you close out this video, it's probably one of the most important thing, is that this stock does not trade a lot of volume. So there's a lot of retail traders. It doesn't trade a lot of volume, and it's also very high price. That means the bid-ask spread is very wide. So be very careful when you're trading this stock, because you're paying between $62 and $71. That's a $10 wide spread just in the bid-ask spread. So you can get ripped off very quickly in the stock if you're not patient with your fills or orders, excuse me. So when you're doing this, you want to be very careful in this case, because this stock can whip you around very fast. It'll give you whiplash. So be patient when you get into them. You might have to sit like 2-3 days just to get into the trade, and you don't want to trade too heavy on the volume, because you could make up a lot of volume, but it is expensive, right? So if you're dealing with the option contract, be careful. Okay, so as we get that out of the way, we look at Chipotle Mexican Grill. We're going to go into the technicals here, and one thing I want to point out here for you on the technicals, if we go to the monthly, I got a bunch of lines on here for you to give you an idea of how the stock's been behaving and performing. But one thing that's kind of cool and interesting is this stock's headed up between 2009 to 2015 and 16, headed up. We got a pullback, headed higher. In fact, it could be like a ABCD pattern for the long run. That's pretty cool, right? And if you look at just over here to the upside and do the Fibonacci level, you're kind of actually pulling back to about 61 in this level, right? And now we're powering higher. So the question is will we pull back a bit or kind of trend sideways before another leg higher? So this one does whip around quite a bit. So in a day, you can see quite a lot of movement. But recently, we had a nice move to the upside. And you'll see when this stock pulls back, it can be violent. So you can see these downdrafts. And we'll go to the daily here in just a second, and you'll be able to see. But, I don't think this stock is kind of going to the moon yet or anything like that, but it does move very quickly because of the lighter liquidity. It does press things into higher. But here we've got kind of a trend moving to the upside like this. So it's been doing pretty well. But if you go kind of to the daily, here's one thing that could be a little concerning for some people, is you get these nasty spikes sometimes on the down end. And that's where some of the issues could lie. So I find that this stock, when it pulls back, normally I don't have this extra moving average line, the 144. But in this case, this stock does pull back a little more violent and aggressive. So I put it on, and you can see even then it still, violates it multiple times. Oftentimes stocks will come back to certain levels and then it'll bounce. But in this case, this stock, had violations in those multiple times. So anyway, recently this stock's been acting quite weak, and we've had some problems. Go to kind of a 2-day or 3-day, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like here, we'll pull back a bit and we'll go back into it, or here, we'll pull back and we'll stick to that trend, but those pullbacks can be very violent. And the time to buy the stock is usually on those pullbacks. Now, we've recently had one of those violent pullbacks here, and you can see the stock is trending. So if you're trying to get in on it, I think this is kind of, I wouldn't say it's late, but you're about a week or so past the party. That's because we had earnings right here. But I think if you're looking at it from a long-term perspective, it's fine. From a shorter-term perspective, you need to be very careful, because we've been kind of whipping on the downside here. And then if you also look at just a monthly chart, we've recently had a lot of redness here recently. So we just kind of chopping around. So this volume on the bearish side is also a bit concerning. So I just be very cautious. This one is one of those stocks you trade very cautiously, because the liquidity is not there. And when you watch it, you've also got this right here on a recent term, $1,600 burrito that you've got problems. So here's your support, here's your resistance. It comes right into it. It could reject very quickly. So now if we look at this could be an A to B, B to C, C to D pattern that could be created, and that could be a problem. From a technical standpoint, 1600 is one big key. You also have this one right about 1750 and this one. Okay, the other bottom end is about the 1350 area that you want to watch back for a possible retracement. If it breaks that, that could be an issue. And this upper end support line, if we break this could be an issue. So those are a few areas to watch, you know, depending if you're playing it for the short side or the upside. But we do have this bearish volume that's also coming in. So it is concerning all the time when you have that bearish volume coming in. And, you know, you need more bullish volume to come in. Unfortunately, this one is lighter traded. It's like super thinly traded. And that makes it more difficult to actually push the stock when you've got only, you know, 98,000 shares traded here. When you go to Bank of America, I've already got, you know, 17 million over here. So there's a whole big world of difference. If you look at Apple here, and you see you got it 30 million. So, you know, this one, be very careful trading it. But I want to share with you some thoughts and insight on the stock. If we go into some Bollinger Bands, you can see we're kind of right in the middle from a Bollinger Band perspective, which doesn't really mean much because the stock could now explode up or down. You don't know. You're not overextended. If you look at kind of Keltner channels right here, you're not way above, you're not way below. So, you know, looking at just the general trend, the question is are we going to do something like this, or are we coming in right here where now I've got these points where that stock could power higher and start moving back to the upside? I don't know, but the bearish volume is a bit concerning. So be careful. Thinly traded stock, it's got a bit of problems. You know, from that perspective, just getting in and out of the trade, you could take a hit right off the bat just trying to get into the trade. Other than that, I hope you found this video helpful for some of the technical aspects of it. Definitely check out my Traders Fly YouTube channel, so that way you could see the options trading perspective on this, because it could make it a little easier for a stock that doesn't move maybe, or a stock that's, you know, overextended one way or the other. It's a little bit easier way to play this one. And sign up to the Discord if you're brand new. You can interact with me and the newsletter as well, because we got a lot of great classes coming up on our Traders Fly website. Just go to the Traders Fly website and you can see all the live classes we're doing, from technical analysis on swing trading to risk arrays, portfolio management, you name it. We've got a lot of great classes there coming up. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.